Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're talking about something that could literally save a life. Maybe yours, maybe someone you love, or even a stranger you meet. Imagine you're traveling in another country. Suddenly, someone collapses. Near you. You rush over to help. But the people around you don't speak your language. The ambulance is on its way. But how do you explain what happened? How do you tell them where you are, what the person's symptoms are, and how urgent it is? In a moment like that, every second matters. And every word matters too. That's why this lesson is different from ordinary English classes. This is life-saving medical English. The exact phrases you need to stay calm, communicate clearly, and get help fast in an emergency. No unnecessary grammar lessons, no textbook filler, just the real-world words and sentences you must know when someone's life is in danger. Over the next 30 minutes, you'll learn how to call emergency services, describe symptoms, answer doctors' questions, and even guide others to give first aid. All in clear, simple English that anyone can understand. We'll cover common emergencies like heart attacks, choking, allergic reactions, accidents, and more. Now you might be thinking, but my English isn't perfect. What if I panic? That's exactly why we're doing this together. You don't need perfect English, you just need the right English. I'll give you phrases you can memorize easily, repeat out loud, and practice so they become automatic. In a real emergency, you won't have time to think about vocabulary. Your words need to come instantly. Here's the good news. These phrases are short, powerful, and work in almost any English-speaking country. By the end of this lesson, you'll have the confidence to pick up the phone, talk to a paramedic, or tell a doctor exactly what's happening. So stay with me until the end. You never know when this knowledge could mean the difference between life and death. And if you've ever thought, I hope I never have to use this, well, that's the goal. But if you do, you'll be ready. Let's start with the very first step, calling for help. The very first and most important action in any emergency is getting professional help as quickly as possible. In English-speaking countries, that means calling the emergency number. Like 911 in the United States, 999 in the UK, 00 in Australia, or 112 in the European Union. The number may be different depending on where you are, but the process of making the call is very similar, and the phrases you use can be the difference between fast help and dangerous delays. Let's imagine you pick up the phone and dial. The person answering will usually say something like, "Emergency services. Which service do you need?" This is your cue to state clearly, "Ambulance, please." Say it slowly and firmly, even if you feel panicked. If you're not sure whether you need an ambulance but someone is badly hurt or sick, it's safer to request one. Once you say ambulance, you will often be connected to a medical dispatcher, the person who asks questions about the situation. Here are the first things they'll need from you: your exact location, what happened, the condition of the person, giving your location. In an emergency, being specific is vital. Instead of saying, "I'm on Main Street," say, "I'm at 245 Main Street outside the grocery store." Or, "I'm on the corner of 5th Avenue and Pine Street next to the bus stop." If you're in a building, say the floor and room number. Example, "I'm on the 2nd floor, room 205 of the Green Hotel." The more precise you are, the faster help can find you. If you don't know the address, look for landmarks. "I'm next to the large clock tower in the city square." We're at the entrance of Central Park near the playground, saying, "What happened?" Describe what happened in one clear sentence. A man collapsed and is not breathing. There's been a car accident and someone is bleeding heavily. A woman is having severe chest pain. Avoid unnecessary details in the first sentence. The dispatcher will ask more questions. Your goal is to make the urgency clear. Immediately. Describing the person's condition, the dispatcher might ask, "Is the person conscious?" You can answer, "Yes, they are awake." "No, they are unconscious." If they ask, Are they breathing? Yes, but it's very weak. No, they are not breathing. If you don't know, say, I'm not sure. I'm checking. Now, they may guide you to check breathing or pulse. Other useful phrases. They are bleeding a lot. They are choking. They are having a seizure. They have a severe allergic reaction. Pronunciation tips for emergencies in a crisis, your voice may shake. That's normal, but try to slow your speech so every word is clear. Practice saying, ambulance, please. Break it into 2 parts. Ambulance, please. He's not breathing. He's not breathing. Severe chest pain. Severe chest pain. Even if your accent is strong, slowing down makes you easier to understand. Staying on the line, never hang up until the dispatcher says it's okay. They may give you instructions. For example, how to do CPR or stop bleeding. Repeat their instructions back to confirm. Okay, you said press. On the chest, I'm doing that now. If you're helping someone who doesn't speak English, say, the patient speaks language, can you send a translator? Practice dialogue dispatcher. Emergency services. Which service do you need? You. Ambulance, please. Dispatcher. What's the address of the emergency? You. 245 Main Street, outside Green Market. Dispatcher. Tell me what happened. You. A man collapsed and is not breathing. Dispatcher. Is he conscious? You. No. Dispatcher. Is he breathing? You. No. Quick memory drill. Here's a short exercise. Say the emergency number for your country 3 times out loud. Practice saying your home address clearly in English. Imagine a stranger is hurt. Say out loud, ambulance please, address. A man collapsed and is not breathing. By practicing now, you'll be ready to speak clearly under pressure. Once you've called for help and the ambulance is on the way, the next crucial step is explaining exactly what's wrong with the patient. Clear communication about symptoms allows medical professionals to act quickly and make life-saving decisions. In emergencies, you often have less than a minute to make them understand the situation. That's why knowing the right English words and phrases can make all the difference. When talking about symptoms in English, think about these 3 key points. What is happening right now? Where the problem is? How severe it is? What is happening right now? Use direct action words to describe the symptom. He is bleeding. She is coughing. He is vomiting. She is shaking. He is having trouble breathing. If the person is in pain, you can say, he is in pain. She is screaming in pain. Remember, in an emergency, short sentences are better than long explanations. Where the problem is. Be specific about the location in the body. Head. He has a head injury. Chest. She has chest pain. Stomach. He has stomach pain. Leg. Her leg is broken. Arm. His arm is bleeding. You can combine the symptom and location. He is bleeding from the head. She is having pain in her chest. 3. How severe it is. Use adjectives and simple phrases to show seriousness. Severe. She has severe chest pain. Heavy. He is bleeding heavily. Not breathing. He is not breathing at all. Weak. His breathing is weak. Unresponsive. She is unresponsive. If you are unsure about the medical terms, don't panic. Use the most basic words you know. For example, instead of laceration, say cut. Instead of fracture, say broken bone. Practice. Combining all 3 points. Here's how to give a complete symptom description. What is happening? He is bleeding. Where? From his arm. How severe? He is bleeding heavily. Final phrase. He is bleeding heavily from his arm. Talking about breathing. Breathing problems are common in emergencies, so here are important phrases. She is not breathing. He is breathing slowly. She is breathing very fast. He is gasping for air. She is choking. Pronunciation tip. Practice breathing. Breathing, not breeding. The difference matters. Describing pain descriptions help doctors guess the cause. Sharp pain, sudden and strong. Dull pain, constant, but not sharp, crushing pain, like heavy pressure, burning pain, feels like heat example. She has sharp pain in her chest. Describing loss of consciousness. If the patient is unconscious, you can say he fainted. She collapsed. He is not waking up. If the person wakes up but is confused, say, she is conscious but confused. Describing movement. Problems, for strokes or severe injuries. He can't move his arm. Her face is drooping. He is weak on one side, answering follow-up questions from medical staff. When paramedics arrive, they might ask, when did this start? Answer with the time. About 5 minutes ago. Has this happened before? No, this is the first time. Or, yes, it happened last year. Does the patient take medication? Yes, for high blood pressure. Any allergies? Yes, to penicillin. Even if you don't know, it's important to say so. I'm not sure. This helps them make faster decisions. Extra vocabulary for emergencies: seizure, uncontrolled shaking, stroke. Brain emergency often affects movement and speech. Heart attack, chest pain, shortness of breath, possible collapse, allergic reaction, swelling, rash, difficulty breathing, unconscious, not awake, responsive, able to answer and react. Real-life example. Imagine this scene. You're on a bus. The man next to you suddenly clutches his chest, falls to the floor, and is not responding. You call emergency services and say, ambulance, please. We are on bus 47 near Central Station. A man collapsed and is not breathing. He has no pulse. When the paramedics arrive, you add, he has severe chest pain before collapsing. He is unconscious and not breathing. Short, clear, complete, quick memory drill. Choose one symptom, bleeding, choking, pain, and say it aloud. Add the body location, arm, head, chest. Add severity, severe, heavy, weak. Example, he is bleeding heavily from his head. Final. Reminder for this section. Describing symptoms is not about sounding like a doctor. It's about helping doctors understand quickly. Keep it short, be specific, and focus on what, where, and how bad. Once emergency help arrives, the setting changes. Instead of speaking to a dispatcher on the phone, you're now face-to-face with paramedics, nurses, or doctors. The environment may be noisy, chaotic, and full of medical equipment, and your job is still the same. Give clear, useful information quickly. In an ambulance or hospital, medical staff will often ask rapid questions while treating the patient. You may also need to repeat yourself to different people, paramedics, triage nurses, and doctors, because each needs the information directly from you. Answering basic questions. You'll often hear, what happened? Give. The short version, he collapsed while walking. When did it happen? About 10 minutes ago. What were they doing? She was eating and started choking. The key is to stay focused on facts, not guesses. If you don't know something, say, I'm not sure. 2. Giving medical history. If you know the patient's medical background, here's how to share it clearly. He has diabetes. She has high blood pressure. He had surgery last month. If they take medicine, he takes insulin every day. She is on blood thinners. If they have allergies, he is allergic to penicillin. She has a severe nut allergy. If you don't know, say, no information available. This tells the staff they may need to check themselves. Explaining the sequence of events. Doctors may need to know what happened step by step. Use simple time markers. First, he said he felt dizzy. Then he sat down and collapsed. After that, he stopped breathing. Short sentences help them quickly form a picture of the emergency. Responding to vital sign checks. Medical staff will check breathing, pulse, and responsiveness. They may ask, "Is he responding?" "No, he's not responding." "Can she speak?" "No, she cannot speak." "Is he breathing normally?" "No, breathing is shallow." If you're the patient, you might need to answer questions about your own symptoms. Where is the pain? In my chest. How bad is the pain from 1 to 10? It's a 9. 5. Following instructions. Inside an ambulance, paramedics may need you to help. Hold his head still. Okay, I'm holding it. Lift her leg. Lifting her leg now. Press here to stop the bleeding. I'm pressing now. Repeat back their instruction to confirm you understood. This avoids dangerous mistakes. Special situations. If the patient doesn't speak English, she speaks Spanish. Do you have a translator? He understands very little English. If you're traveling and don't know the hospital system, I'm not from here. Can you explain the process? Is there someone who speaks my language? Ear. Communicating under stress. In an ambulance, everything happens fast. Lights, flashing, sirens blaring, equipment beeping. It's easy to feel overwhelmed. Here are tips to stay clear. Focus on one question at a time. Take a short breath before answering. If you forget a word, use simple language or point. Example, instead of epistaxis, medical term for nosebleed, just say, bleeding from the nose. Practice scenario, ambulance ride. Imagine this. Paramedic. What happened? You. He collapsed after complaining of chest pain. Paramedic. When? You. About 5 minutes ago. Paramedic. Does he have medical problems? You. Yes, heart disease. Paramedic. Is he allergic to anything? You. Yes, penicillin. Clear, direct, no extra details unless asked. At the hospital triage desk, the triage nurse may ask similar questions again. Don't be frustrated. Each repetition ensures accurate records. Be ready to repeat your key sentences exactly. He collapsed after chest pain. About 5 minutes ago. History of heart disease. Allergic to penicillin. 10. Describing improvement or worsening. Medical staff may monitor the patient and ask if anything changes. His breathing is getting weaker. She is regaining consciousness. The bleeding has stopped. Updates help them adjust. Treatment instantly. Emergency room etiquette. While urgency is high, remember, speak loudly enough to be heard, but avoid shouting unless needed. Stand clear when doctors are working, but be ready to answer if they look to you for information. If you're the patient, try to answer in short bursts between breaths if you're struggling. The words matter more than full sentences. Example, pain, chest, started, 5 minutes ago. Sometimes, you're not the one calling the ambulance or talking to doctors. You're the one organizing the scene and guiding others until professional help arrives. This is one of the most stressful situations a person can face, but with the right phrases in English, you can take control and make sure everyone knows what to do. In emergencies, people often freeze or panic. Clear, confident instructions can cut through the chaos. The key is to use short, direct commands with strong voice tone. Getting bystanders to help. If you need someone to call emergency services, call 911 now. Call an ambulance. Immediately. You, in the red shirt, call 999. Pointing to a specific person avoids confusion. If you just yell, "Somebody call an ambulance!" everyone might assume someone else will do it. If you need help finding equipment, get the first aid kit. Bring the defibrillator. This is the device used for heart emergencies, often called an AED. Find a blanket to keep them warm. Assigning roles clearly. One of the most important leadership skills in an emergency is making sure no task is forgotten. You can say, "You, stay with me and help." "You, wait outside to guide the ambulance." "You, move people back to give space." Even if your English isn't perfect, giving clear orders works better than being polite and vague. In emergencies, direct is kind because it saves lives. Asking for medical help from strangers. If you think someone nearby might have training, ask, "Is anyone here a doctor? Is anyone trained in first aid? Does anyone know CPR?" Even if no one steps forward, asking might encourage someone with partial knowledge to help. Giving basic first aid instructions in English. If you know what to do, you might need to tell someone else. Press here to stop the bleeding. Keep his head still. Turn her onto her side. For unconscious but breathing people. Tilt his head back and lift his chin. To open the airway. For choking. Stand behind him and wrap your arms around his waist. Make a fist and push into his stomach. Controlling. The crowd. Sometimes too many people crowd around the patient. You might need to say, "Please step back. Give us space. Only trained people stay here." This makes it easier for helpers and ensures the patient gets air and privacy. Calming the patient. If the person is awake and scared, short, reassuring phrases in English help. Help is coming. Stay with me. Breathe slowly. You're not alone. A calm voice can lower their heart rate and make breathing easier. When you don't know what to do. Even if you're not trained in first aid, you can still be useful by staying with the patient until help arrives, relaying information between bystanders and emergency services, keeping the patient warm and safe from danger, traffic, fire, falling objects. You can say, "I'm staying with you. We're waiting for the ambulance. You're safe now." Practice scenario, leading an emergency response. Imagine you're in a park and someone collapses. Here's what you might say. You, call 911 now. Tell them we're at Riverside Park near the fountain. You, check if there's an AED in the visitor center. You, help me roll him onto his back. You to patient. Sir, can you hear me? Stay with me. Help is coming. Notice how each instruction is short, direct, and assigned to a specific person. Why language matters in crowded places. In airports, stadiums, or train stations, people may speak many languages. English is often the common bridge. Even if some people don't understand you perfectly, simple English commands like call ambulance or stop bleeding are more likely to be understood than complex phrases. Communicating with the ambulance crew. When they arrive. When the professionals arrive, your role shifts to passing on the story. He collapsed 5 minutes ago. She was choking. We did the Heimlich maneuver. We started chest compressions. The information you give them can decide how they treat the patient immediately. By now, you've learned how to call for help, describe symptoms, communicate in an ambulance, and guide others in an emergency. But there's one more crucial step. Locking these phrases into your memory so they come out instantly when you need them. Emergencies don't give you time to think, translate, or search for words. That's why we'll now review the most important terms, practice pronunciation, and test your recall with short drills. Review of core emergency words. Let's start with the absolute essentials. Repeat after me slowly. focusing on clear pronunciation. Ambulance, ambulance unconscious, unconscious breathing, breathing bleeding, bleeding choking, choking seizure, seizure stroke, stroke a heart attack allergic reaction, allergic reaction. Pain, pain severe, severe weak, weak. These are your building blocks, the emergency toolkit of English. Key short phrases. Memorize these as complete sentences so you don't have to build them under stress. Ambulance. Please. He is not breathing. She is unconscious. He is bleeding heavily from his head. She is choking. He collapsed suddenly. She has severe chest pain. He has a history of heart disease. She is allergic to penicillin. 3. Practice drill. Fill in the blank. I'll say the sentence with a missing word. You try to say it in full. He is not breathing. She is RT. Unconscious. Call an AT. Ambulance. He is from his arm. Bleeding. She is having a seizure or heart attack, and both are possible answers. Linking words together for speed. When under pressure, short linked sentences are easier to produce. Practice saying, ambulance please, man not breathing. Severe chest. Pain. Send help now. Bleeding from head, hurry. Remember, grammar is less important than clarity in these moments. Pronunciation under stress. When you're scared, your voice might speed up or shake. That's normal. The secret is to force yourself to slow down, even if your brain is racing. Let's practice 2 key phrases slowly, then a bit faster. Slow. He is not breathing. Faster. He's not breathing. Slow. Ambulance. Please. Faster. Ambulance, please. This way, your brain learns both the careful and urgent versions. Mini role play. Let's run through a quick simulated call. I'll be the dispatcher. You respond out loud. Dispatcher. Emergency services. Which service do you need? You. Say, ambulance, please. Dispatcher. What's the address? You. Say your real address or make one up for practice. Dispatcher. What happened? You. Describe a fake emergency. A man collapsed and is not breathing. Doing this out loud, even if it feels silly, makes it much more likely you'll recall the words in a real emergency. Vocabulary by category. Organizing your memory can help you find words faster. Here are the key categories. Conditions. Unconscious, bleeding, choking, seizure, stroke, heart attack, allergic reaction. Body parts. Head, chest, arm, leg, stomach. Severity. Severe, heavy, weak, strong, sudden actions. Call, send, help, breathe, move, press, lift by grouping them like this. You train your brain to search faster when you need the word. Memory anchor technique. Pick one emergency phrase and link it to an image in your mind. For example, he is bleeding heavily. Imagine a red waterfall. She is unconscious. Picture a light switched off. These mental images help your brain grab the word instantly. Quick fire recap. Let's go through 10 sentences from earlier. Repeat them with me. Ambulance, please. He is not breathing. She is unconscious. He collapsed suddenly. She is choking. He is bleeding heavily from his head. She has severe chest pain. He is allergic to penicillin. She is having a seizure. He has a history of heart disease. If you can say all 10 without looking, you're in great shape. Final reminder. Words are powerful tools in emergencies. Practicing them now in a calm moment is the best way to prepare for the chaos of a real-life situation. Don't just listen to this section once. Come back to it, repeat the drills, and even teach them to a friend. The more you say them out loud, the more automatic they'll become. We've reached the end of our lesson, and you now have a set of life-saving English phrases that could make all the difference in an emergency. You've learned how to call for help, describe symptoms, communicate with paramedics, guide other people, and keep a patient calm until professionals arrive. More importantly, you've practiced them out loud so they're ready to use under pressure. Let's take a moment to remember why this matters. Emergencies are unpredictable. They can happen at home, on the street, at work, or while traveling. They can happen to strangers or to the people you care about most. In those moments, language should never be the barrier that stops you from helping. With the right words, you can act quickly, clearly, and confidently, no matter where you are. If you take away only one thing from this lesson, let it be this: clarity saves lives. In a crisis, perfect grammar doesn't matter. What matters is that you get your message across fast and accurately. Short, direct sentences are your best tool. Words like, "Ambulance, please," "He is not breathing," or "She is unconscious," cut through confusion and give emergency responders exactly the information they need. I also want you to remember that communication is about more than just words. Your tone, your volume, and your confidence all play a role. Speak loudly enough to be heard. Slow down if you're speaking too fast. And even if you feel afraid, and you probably will, try to keep your voice steady. That calmness can reassure the patient and help others around you focus. Now here's your challenge. Don't just let today's lesson fade away. Review these phrases regularly. Say them out loud while you're walking, driving, or doing chores. Teach them to friends or family. The more you repeat them, the more automatic they'll become. And in an emergency, automatic is exactly what you need. You can even make it a fun habit. Once a week, pick one emergency situation and practice explaining it in English as if you were on the phone with a dispatcher. Over time, you'll notice that the words come faster and with more confidence. And finally, if this lesson has helped you, share it. Post it on social media, send it to someone who travels often, or show it to a loved one. You never know whose life might be touched by the skills you've learned today. If you enjoyed this session and want more practical, real-world English lessons like this one, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave a comment telling me which phrase you found most useful. Your feedback helps me create even better lessons for you. Remember, emergencies are not the time to wish you'd prepared. They're the time to use what you've already learned. And now you have the words, the phrases, and the confidence to make a difference. Stay safe, stay ready, and keep practicing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.